Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful tutorial, we're trying to see how to build a very simple calculator and a very advanced calculator using Streamlit component. We're building something very cool with Streamlit component. So this is what we're trying to build. So I can actually calculate this one with a simple calculator. So say 89 plus, let's say 56, right, is equal to, right, and everything is working perfectly. I can multiply it by a particular number, then I can get the result. Very interesting. So that is for the simple calculator. Now if I go back to the sidebar here, you can also go from the simple to the advanced calculator, and then I can also see the advanced calculator which is slightly different, which is more advanced. So I can just go with 58. You can see the result here. You can to the power, right? Very interesting, which is an advanced calculator, and everything is working as expected, right? Very cool. Invalid entry, but it's still going to work. So we can actually clear everything. Then you can do some simple stuff. So these are, let's make it like this. You can go back like that, right? You can square root of that particular number, and everything works perfectly. So that's something simple that we're trying to see how to build from scratch. So using Streamlit component, specifically the component.html. So credit to these people for the work they have done. So most of these things are online. Credit to Gregory for helping us with the advanced calculator, right? This guy. So we got the calculator, advanced calculator from this particular place. Gregory get shell, right? That is where we got it from. And then for the simple one, we got it from our previous tutorial that we did for Julia. So let's see how to build this one from scratch, right? So Streamlit components gives you the option of doing some cool stuff, right? This is just component.html. So let's check it out. So I set up our place and we start building. Right, so I come back here from this place. I'll move into my calculator app. There's nothing here. We only have our calculator.html file. So let's create our file, app.py. Right, so in case you don't have Streamlit, you can just go with pip install Streamlit. That's all that we need for this app, right? That is all that we need. Then we need the version 0.6, 0.63 and upwards to enable you to be able to do what you are doing. So let's open our app and let's start writing some code. So starting everything from scratch. Take some time. So this is where we are. Then inside here we have our calculator.html, which is something very simple. So the code will be below so that you can check. There's a whole tutorial on it when we were working with Julia. So this is something very simple, right? So we have my calculator, we have my style, so CSS to give us our design, our very nice design. We have our HTML, which is just using input, right? Using input and then just the values. So input and the values, and then simple JavaScript click on function, right? So these are simple JavaScript stuff, simple HTML stuff that you can get the code around, and then that is all. So this is the simple calculator, right? Perfect. So the beauty is coming from the CSS, and then the functions are coming from these particular stuff there. So let's go back to here and let's work on the advanced calculator too. So this is also for the advanced calculator, right? Credit to Gregory for helping us with that. So there's advanced calculator. So inside the advanced calculator we have all the various things that we need. So this is it, right? Almost the same thing. So we have our JavaScript, we have our CSS, right, to add some beautification to it, and then we have a table, right? So this is using a table, still the same approach, on click and then the value to help us with that. So let's start with it. So I'll just come back to this place. Then we're going to import load our core packages. Go import Streamlit as st. That's all. Then we're going to be importing our utils package. So we're using codec, so import codec to help us with that, to help us load our HTML file, right? That is all that we need. Then let's go with our component package. So our component package, we're using Streamlit dot component dot v1, right? That is all that we need as stc. You can call it as stc. So it's supposed to be import import Streamlit as stc. You can make it stc to make it simple, or you can just go with the convention component, right? Anyhow you want it to be. But let's try today with stc, right, for now, right? So Streamlit component. So let's create our main function. It's going to be main. Then this is going to give us a simple description of what the app does for docstring. So calculator app with Streamlit component. Perfect. Then we're going to create a simple menu. So the menu is going to have our simple calculator, simple calculator. Then we're going to have our advanced calculator, and then our about. That is all that we need. Then let's close this one with our if main. That is all that we need. So all the things that you'll be doing, you'll be going in between this place. So I'll create my simple choice as we always do. Then st.sidebar.select box, and I'll pass in my menu, then my menu. Then I'm going to specify that if my choice is equal to advanced calculator, give me the advanced calculator. So st.subheader is going to be advanced calculator. Else, if the choice is equal to simple calculator, right? So simple, let's make it about, so that the default is going to be the simple calculator, right? st.subheader is about app. Then else, so the default will be in the simple calculator, st.subheader. And this is going to be my simple calculator. That is all that we need for the app, right? Very simple. So we'll be using the component.html to help us with that. So in case you have forgotten, it is this one. The simple workflow of Streamlit component is this. So we have two components. You have static component and then bidirectional component, and then we are using the static component option, the component.html, to help us render CSS, HTML, and JavaScript to build the app, right? So that's what we're trying to do. So I just come back to where we were working on, then I'll just go straight away with this option. So let's check it out. So I'm going to, we have our file here, we have our calculator.html and then our advanced calculator.html. So to load it, we can load it in this way. So let's load the simple one first. So we can just create a simple function to help us with that. So let's call this one as our custom function, component function. Then this is how it goes. So it's going to call it as my def, then I'll call the st.calculator, then this takes in some files. So what is it going to take? So this is going to take my calculator HTML, right? Then I'm going to give it a width. Then the width is going to be, let's give it a width like, let's say, for 700. Then a height, so the height, let's give it as 500, right? That's what I will need for our app. Then from here I'll be using, let's call that my calc file. I'll use codex to open it. So codex open my calc file, my calc HTML file as read byte, as read. Then I'm going to read it out. So it's going to be my page. So page, which is going to be my calc file dot read. That is all. Then from here I'll use the component stc, Streamlit component, right? You can just call it as component, but let's make it something different for today. stc component. Then I'll just go with my HTML, right? And I'll pass in my stuff. So this stuff is going to be my page. That is all. Then we also need to specify the width. So the width is going to be the width that we have. Then the height is going to be the height the person specify. And then we will just go with scrolling. It's going to, you can specify that one as true or false, anyhow you want it to be. So let's specify the scrolling as true, or let's make it as false. Right, that is all. So this is a simple function that you have created, and it's using component.html, right? I just called it as st component. You can just call it as component, anyhow it's still going to work, right? But stc is short. Okay, so let's check it out. So I just come back here, then I'll just go back to the simple one. It's going to be my stc dot, no, now it's going to be st calculator, and I'll pass in my HTML file, which is this HTML file, right? So I'll pass it here as my calculator.html, right? So let's run our app and see whether it's working. So I'll just go back to my terminal, the same location that we have our app. Right, so this place we have our app and our files there. So it's going to be my Streamlit run app.py. I'm going to run it perfectly for us, then we will see it at work. So let's close off this because we are no more using it in nada. And then I'll come back here. So it's going to open it perfectly for us, taking some time for it to load. So in case you have not subscribed to this channel, you can also subscribe and check the links below for some interesting materials to help you master machine learning and then Python. So I'll just copy this URL, right? So let's copy this one. It is automatically going to open my default browser, as you can see above. So that's open this one, right? Mozilla, but let's use Chrome for now. So I'll just paste it here, and now we're going to see our app at work. Something very simple. So it's taking some time for it to load. Voila, right? So our app is working. So we have our simple calculator, and our calculator is already working, right? So we have the simple calculator, we have our advanced calculator, which is empty for now. Then we also have our about page, which is also empty for now, right? So I can just come back to the simple calculator and then let's check it out. So the basic idea behind what you have built so far is that we are just using this simple function that we created, right? Using codecs to open that HTML file. You are reading a particular file, you are rendering that file with component.html, right? Then we call the function st calculator, and I'm just passing it inside this particular function. Then I'm rendering this HTML here. So let's save it and let's position this one beside it so that you can see what you have done. Now our app is working as expected, right? The app works as we want it to be, right? So if I type in something there, it's working. So let me make it bigger, right? So if I go back and I check it, it's working at least. Yeah, 9. Yeah, everything is working as expected. I can add in a particular value, then it works, right? So let's try a different number here. Equal. So that's a basic idea, right? So this is simple tap to allow it to work. Very interesting. Now let's go back to the simple. We are finished with the simple. Now let's move on to the advanced. So the same way we did, because we made it in the format of function to be very easy. So the basic idea is that I'm just going to repeat the same function, which is a generic function or a general function. So it's going to be this, right? The same function that we had. We had this same function. So I'll just come back to this same place. And then from here, let's go with st calculator. Then I'll pass in my advanced calculator.html. So this advanced calculator.html is coming from here, right? This is simple HTML calculator. Then if I go back and I check what you have done, so let's always run. Voila, our calculator is working, right? So that is all that we need to build this simple calculator app, and everything works as we want it to be, right? 100% working. That is very nice and very cool. So thank you for watching this long or short tutorial. So the basic idea is just to have your HTML files, right? That does the normal calculation stuff, which you got from Grishel, credits to him. And then also we just created a simple function using Streamlit.component v1 as stc. This one can be component, right? By convention it can be component. Then I'll just have to change this one to components, and it's still going to work anyway. Any of them is going to be right, anyhow you want it to be, right? That is in case you not be using it over, you just go with this option, right? Then it's still going to work perfectly. Then we created a menu, then we just use a function to load our files, and then our app is working perfectly. So thank you for watching. Let's add our HTML stuff to it to make it better. So I'll just come back here, then I'll add my HTML to them. So just paste in my HTML template, right? Something very simple. Then I'll just come back here and use the option that we had to help us load it. So in that case, it can be this SD or component .html. We remember that we have changed it. We have changed it from STC, right? It can be STC, it can be anyhow. Then I pass in my HTML template. The same thing I've done here. I can also copy it down for this one, and it's working as expected, right? So perfect, right? Our app is working and it's nicer. So thank you for watching this long tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the comment section below, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you another time.